It's like a dream of ours, actually.
It truly is a dream. One of our mentors tells us whenever we have something great go on in our life, says, take your right hand, and you all can do it with me. Take your right hand, put it over your left shoulder, and then move it back and forth, and go ahead and pat yourself on the back for doing such a great job of taking part in this leadership meeting. So as you all see, the agenda tonight, I'm just going to go over the overview and vision of our Leadership Institute. We're also going to cover program highlights. So tonight I'll be giving, again, a very high level overview of what the leadership program will look like. We're going to go over the costs that are not paid to the Outlet Community Church. It's paid directly to the accrediting firm, which is the Antioch School, and I'll talk more about why that is. And then I actually have some sample course material that I'm going to show you kind of a breakdown of what certain courses are going to look like. But following this call or this video meeting, make sure that in the chat you all leave me your email address. I'm going to actually send you a link to a sample course book. So a book to what they call an encyclical. It's about 70-page small book that we will be exploring in the various courses that we have. After that, I'll open the floor for questions. Again, we're within the last 3 months have just been introduced to this awesome opportunity. So we're getting our feet wet and learning as much as we can, and have been doing so in this pandemic. We believe that it's just very important for us to continue growing our church and having an actual system of development placed here in our church. And then I want you to already mark your calendar right now for our next meeting, July 27th. We're going to have more information July 27th. So mark your calendar. You know, tonight is something that interests you. You're open. Mark your calendar for July 27th, 7 p.m. And we will continue to build from here. So I want to go right into the overview and vision of the Outlet Leadership Institute. So as my wife was saying earlier, this is truly one of our heart's dreams, to be able to not only offer a ministry and leadership institute at our church, but my wife, she graduated from Charis Bible College, which is based out of Colorado. I, at the time, graduated from Rhema Bible Training Center. And at the time, neither one, when we were going through Bible school, of our schools offered accreditation, which absolutely was terrible, because we were doing all of this collegiate-based work, and it
Paying
was
all
just,
the money.
and you know, paying our tuition, and it did not, for me at the time, count toward college credits or furthering my degree in whatever I was in. And so we said that whenever the time came, because we thought maybe 5-10 years after the church was open, we'd be able to start our own leadership institute, but we wanted to make sure that it was accredited. So naturally, you're thinking of all the things they had to do. Make a long story short, again, divine connections have allowed us to be in partnership with schools that come alongside churches to help them implement a leadership training course within the lifestyle of their church without having to reinvent the wheel. So they're giving us all of the curriculum. They're going to do all of the grading, which verifies that the work that we do is weighted, and it follows all the check boxes that you need in order to actually have course credits that will be accepted at various institutions. They're going to do all of that. The only thing that they're looking for churches is to gather a group of people who are willing to be a part of what they call cohorts that will then begin to learn and grow together. And so with all of those supernatural things coming together, we are now able to sit here today and say that the Outlet Leadership Institute, as it says on the screen, we're a premier Christian learning institute dedicated to the development and spiritual formation of Christian leaders. So the end goal for the Outlet community is that we deploy life-giving leaders. Well, it's one thing to have a goal, but if you don't have a system that drives you to your goal, you're only talking about a daydream. Well, the way I know our church is effective is that we are deploying life-giving leaders. And now we have the system to be able to do that officially. And so we equip Christian leaders for effective ministry that impacts the family, community, and the world. And through our partnership with the Biblical Institute of Leadership Development, so when you hear me say build, I'm referring to the Biblical Institute of Leadership Development and the Antioch School of Church Planning and Leadership Development. So the two of them are our accrediting board. So this is where we're able to say we're offering an accredited leadership institute because of our partnership with Build and the Antioch School of Church Planning and Leadership Development. Ultimately, our goal is within the coming years will be to offer college credits for completed programs. And so I put this statement in here to, when someone reads this, to have the bar lowered in the sense, but officially today when we begin, everything that we offer will be able to apply toward college credits. But as we're working out all of the questions that we have on our end, and as we're holding these meetings, one thing I do not want to do is write something down that has the potential to change. So right now, here's the goal within the coming years. But just like everything else, we're on an accelerated timeline. What I want to do is show you all and give you an idea of, how does this institute, how does it fold out? How does it play out? How does it unfold for us as we go through it? Well, on, let's see here. If you all are familiar with Dale Bronner, just let me know in the chats if you can. If you're familiar with Bishop Dale Bronner, Word of Faith Cathedral, just let me know in the chats if you are familiar with him. All right. I'm going to use him as an example. Dale Bronner, or BronnerNetwork.org, houses his Ministry Leadership Institute. And so basically, because of our connections with an organization that has allowed us the insight, what you're looking at is Dale Bronner's Ministry Leadership Institute through Build and the Antioch School that he's had in his church for the last 7 to 8 years. So he's had, might be even longer. It might be over 10 years that they've had this institute in their school. And so it starts off with just one singular cohort. But one thing about developing leaders is that over time, your leaders then multiply and begin to help to lead cohorts in different areas. So we're starting with just the ministry leadership cohort, but eventually we'll be able to expand just as leaders and as instructors go through the program and come out and say, hey, I want to help lead another group. Eventually our heart is to take the curriculum that we're starting with in just seed form and begin to offer these different types of programs. And so these are things that Word of Faith Cathedral currently offers in their church, but all of it is done through, look at there, I just stole this, the Biblical Institute of Leadership Development and the Antioch School. And so this is an outstanding opportunity that we've been given, and we're starting it just as our church was, from scratch. And the goal is to continue to build and to expand on this. So let's talk about what this program will look like. All right. So here are the highlights and a quick basic overview is that the first program that we're going to offer is a certificate of ministry. This is an executive leadership certificate. With the executive leadership certificate, the basics of this program is that your competencies or the information that you go for, the type of teaching that will take place is not like you would think in a traditional university or in a traditional seminary. They are focused on making sure that you have gained competency, not so much that you're mastering material. So the goal of the Antioch School is to help churches raise up leaders who are going to be focused on leading in the church as the church makes one of the biggest shifts in the last 500 years. So we are going to learn how to be leaders who lead like those that we read in the book of Acts, where there's an integration between the marketplace and ministry. And so instead of a lecture style only learning setting, it's going to be a setting where it's dialogical, or a Socratic learning setting, where we'll meet once a week for 2 hours beginning in September. And we will go over the information that we were assigned to read and learn from there. So it's really about dialogue. It's really about not just showing up or making this like a thing that you check the box and say, hey, I did this, hey, I've accomplished this, but really allowing the information to transform you and the information to be able to take root in your heart. So I would suggest in this program budgeting at least 2 to 3 hours a week in reading and homework that can be broken up over the 6 days that we're not meeting, and budget a 1-2 hour setting on Saturdays where we'll meet in a semester type basis. And so as we're going through the program, as you see the certificate of ministry up here, I'll read this top paragraph, is granted for demonstration of an initial set of competencies associated with doing ministry according to the way of Christ and his apostles. So that's what kind of separates our Leadership Institute from other traditional settings. Again, we're not going to implement this to just check the box off. We are really focused on raising up leaders within our church to help us lead our ministry forward into the future. What happens is, and the reason why they're able to say these credits also account or can be counted toward other degrees, is that in this program, the foundation or the learning material is the same. So inside of a Bible school, there's only one Bible. So no matter if you're getting a certificate of the Bible, if you're getting a bachelor's of the Bible, a master's of the Bible, a doctorate of the Bible, it's one Bible. That's the foundation, that's the framework. But what is different is the course requirements or the required learning or the required competencies that you have to display for every level. So as we get further into the weeds of, where some of you are, some of you may have already have received your master's, some of you have already received your bachelor's, and you're saying, okay, so how does this apply to my personal setting? We'll take those conversations offline and talk specifically as to how that applies to you. But when we're talking about this overall program, we're all going to be learning from the same source based off where you are. Your homework that you submit may be different according to the rigors that you personally set up in your track. So the biggest thing people want to know is, how much does this cost? And so this certificate program, which accounts for about 16 or so credits, is in total $3,000. And so the good thing about this is that you can break up the $3,000 over a 24-month period, which will be $125 a month. And so none of these fees are things that are added by the Outlet Community Church. This is what we pay directly to, or what you will pay directly to the Antioch School, because that's the cost of an accredited certificate, degree, etc. So these costs are directly paid to the accrediting school and not to the church. So the church is not making any money off of this school. In fact, the church will, more times than not, if there are extemporaneous costs that we may not be aware of today, the church will absorb those costs, because it's the cost of, for us, doing business and accomplishing our goal. After the tuition, you see there the SEMA map. That is just simply an assessment. There is no charge for this if you do the based assessment, which is given to you. But if you want a more in-depth assessment as to where I am, what I may need to work on and focus, they do have two different options for the consultant assessed, which is $750, and then the computer assessed test, that's for $300. But again, we're just giving out information tonight. These are optional things, and we can talk about this in detail. As it relates to course materials, there's tuition, but then there may be other books and resources that are going to be given as you take the course. Those are just things that you have to factor in as well. Down here, they're giving us an option of, estimated cost is $335 per course or per semester. With the admissions process, those who are interested in taking the next step, we will be forwarding you a link to go ahead and fill out your information. From there, we will get you loaded into the Antioch Cloud database, and then they will begin the process of getting you enrolled into the school in the coming days and coming weeks. And so we've got about, I dare say we're at the end of June. Our target launch date will be the last Saturday of September will be our first class. So we have about 90 or so days or 3 months until we're actually going to be rolling in our fall semester. And just from the admissions process, they'll have you complete an application online. A member of the Antioch school team will reach out to you. And then once you're admitted, you'll receive information from Build, as well as how to set up your payment plan directly with them. Again, this is not something that the church makes money off of. And the reason why we went with this program is because we wanted it to be church-based, which means it is customized to the lifestyle of our church. We're not necessarily having to follow just a schedule that's already set up by someone outside of our church. And the school is more so about competency-based. So what did I learn? What did I take from this? What penetrated my heart, as opposed to shifting that academic mind on like, okay, I need to learn all of these things to say I know it. We're really about heart transformation with leaders. Now, the final thing that I want to look at before I open the floor for questions is, again, this is just a brief sample, and with the email address that you placed inside of the chat, when we forward the link, we'll also forward you a PDF of one of the course books so you can get an idea of what type of reading will be going on through our courses. This is a theology and culture system. And so this is important because, as you see, it's integrating spiritual understanding with marketplace or community-based leadership. So the goal of this course is to integrate spiritual life as well as our everyday life. So we want you to come out of this initial 2-year program even better than you were before. And so as you see here, life, stewardship in the community, developing a life plan based off of scripture or ancient wisdom traditions, and being able to create a totally unique process that will guide you in your own development, in developing your family and building your own life work. So again, this institute is about growing you, developing you as a leader. It's here so that we can, as a church, begin raising up leaders who are equipped to lead the church of the 21st century. And, for our, strategic plan going forward, our focus has to be on discipleship. And that's one thing that you can't stop. So with the courses, you don't have to be an Outlet member to join the Outlet Leadership Institute. So if you know people who are looking to explore and go further in their development, they do not have to be a member of our church. They don't even have to live in Atlanta, because our meetings and our classes will take place on Zoom. So Zoom will be how we meet once a week, starting right now, the last Saturday in September. So with that being said, I see the chat blowing up. I haven't been able to look at it just yet, so I'm going to take a look here. I am so grateful to see all of you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So if you all have any questions at this time, you can either put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask them out loud. All right. I have one question come in that asks, what will be the role of the ministry leaders at the outlet and how long is the program? I want to understand more about your question about what will the role of the ministry leaders, what will be the role of the ministry leaders at the outlet. I don't know if you're asking after they complete this course or this program. You know, of course, our heart as far as developing leaders is train the trainer. So what I will be looking for are for those who are demonstrating just heart engagement and allowing the information to transform just who you are. I'm not really looking for those who can, you know, repeat the information, but those who embody the information that we'll go through to be future leaders of cohorts as they get started. So based off of the success of the initial launch of this school, if there then is a demand for us to start a spring cohort, you know, we'll do just that. And just those who are able to kind of, you know, operate as a student as well as a teacher, we'll be looking to you to help us lead cohorts as they start. The heart of our ministry is to raise up leaders and then multiply this as we go. The program is approximately 4 semesters long. So fall, spring, as it stands right now, we will not offer a summer semester. We'll just take the summer off, but fall, spring. And so starting in September of 2020, you can expect a completion in spring of 2022. That will be the completion of our cohort. Yeah, so that was another question. How long is the program? All right. Yeah, so our heart is we're going to raise up leaders to help us train more leaders, raise up leaders to deploy leaders in whatever area that their heart is. Our goal is to raise up ministry leaders who one day pastor campuses and help us to lead and, you know, even train leaders who aren't necessarily a part of the outlet community, but we want to empower, equip, develop, and deploy the body of Christ. So this, again, is not only for, you don't have to be an outlet member to attend. This is a tool that the outlet is utilizing so that we can develop the body of Christ. I'll make sure I can hear everybody. Oh, that's probably why I couldn't hear nothing. There we go. All right. Any other questions that you all may have on this evening? Who will teach the content? So right now you're looking at your teachers for the first time. We are starting from scratch. So Ashley and I will be your teachers. Welcome to class.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so great. So as you can see,
but of course now your coursework, it wouldn't be submitted to us. It would be submitted to professors at Antioch College, and they will be the ones to grade your papers and tests and whatnot. So you'll have like a portal, and you'll have, you know, your own individual entry to get in the portal and submit your work.
Yes. So yeah, we're gonna be your teachers in the first hoorah. This is the do y'all offer extra credit? You can pay me in burritos,
you know,
and it might get you on the accelerated track. You know, it's just all up to you all. But This is our heart. This is our, at the end of the day, this will be my life's work in raising up leaders who are fully integrated within the ministry and the marketplace. Church is wonderful, but helping to shape and form disciples is a passion of ours. So we are ecstatic to be able to offer this, to have 15 or so people on the first interest meeting. I'm sure by the next one, prayerfully, not only are you all back, but we will have added more people who you spread the word to. Like, hey, if you really want to be a part of Leadership Institute, that the whole purpose behind this is to shift ministry for the 21st century. The majority of ministries are operating off of an antiquated model, and we don't have the training in place to get people ready for the next model. And so what you all are seeing is a curriculum that was tried and true in places like China. Why is that important? With China, they had to have church underground. And so this exploded in the underground church model. Well, what's happening now? We're in essence having to have church underground. And so this curriculum, this program is already ahead of its time. And it's just, I believe, the divine connection of God to allow us the opportunity to offer it here at the outlet. So will y'all be the teachers the whole time, or will we get different teachers each semester? Right now, we all we got.
Yeah, we're sorry to disappoint
you. We're sorry.
and that's strictly because, a lot of it is seminary training. And so we do want, though, if we have other teachers, we are looking for some kind of seminary background to be able to teach, because we got to kind of know a foundation to be able to teach it to you guys. So we will be on the lookout for other professors. Don't worry about that, Kim. We're not trying to be your only source.
Yeah, so
we will definitely be.
But with this school, we take this school serious.
Yes.
And so those who are teaching in a college level have to have a minimum of a master's degree on a college level. This is a college level course, and so in order to teach, you have to have a master's level. So this is not, sorry, I hate to be like that, but
we want you to. If you guys are paying for it, we want you to come away with content that you understand and that you can apply.
Yeah. So either a master's or you graduated from a certificate.
Seminary of some sort.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Perfect. So classes will meet once a week on Saturdays for 2 hours. So budget once a week, Saturday, 2 hours. And seminary, just a seminary, I'm looking for a baseline seminary degree to start, but honestly preferred are people who come through this program because you understand the program. So when you come through this program, you will be certified to teach others in this program. So that is the goal. That's the goal. You want to create your own leadership pipeline. So this is our leadership pipeline.
We're reading questions.
These are outstanding questions, and just So yes. So one of the questions. So will you train us and we will teach? Absolutely. Will you train us and we will teach others? Absolutely. That is the ultimate goal. That is the goal, and we want to do it. We want to do it right. All right. This is absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you all for your emails. As we're recording, we've recorded them. So our action items to you: follow up with, you'll see a Google link form. Please complete that. And you'll also get a PDF with that email of a sample of the course material. Just, you know, go through it. It's something that you can read at your leisure. It's about 71 pages. And in about a month, we will meet at the same time again. All right. Any other questions before we dismiss?